we interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Similar sounds have been reported all over the world in recent years, including in Russia, the United Kingdom, and the United States.
The mystery is really freaking people out.
Cows were freaking out. They were running up and down the field.
Various explanations have been offered as to what might be causing the sounds.
There's something not right. There was something in the air.
Very early this morning in northeast Oklahoma City, there was no wind,
I thought maybe
no
it's the
engine,
motorway,
no aircraft.
the towny
But
folk
listen to what it sounded
driving
like
about in their
outside.
cars, but I don't think it was. I think it was something else. I don't know what, but it was scary.
It's being called a real-life X-Files.
My family thought I was messing around because they could never hear them.
Several people heard and felt a loud noise around 12:30 Central Time this afternoon.
I don't believe them.
And now it's happening again.
One, two, three. Okay, well, that's something. Welcome to Life Bites. I'm your host, Derek Watson, and with me is...
Whoa, what the fuck, dude? What are you doing?
Wrong show, bro.
What's up, weirdos, and welcome back to another episode of It's Getting Weird Podcast. I am your host, Eric.
What?
Again?
Huh?
Again. Come on, guys.
Fuck, sorry.
And welcome back to another episode of the Odd Pod. We got it right that time. I'm one of your hosts, Joel. And 1,200 miles to my northwest, we've got...
Eric.
And Derek.
And today, we're talking about some shit.
Talking about some sounds.
Some sounds.
In the sky.
Everybody can hear, right?
You would hope so. I mean, there are deaf people, but I mean...
Oh, yeah, I forgot about them.
Shit, they make up 30% of our overall listenership.
Fuck.
So we have to...
Fuck.
be very sensitive, guys.
So all 34 of our listeners cut those sumbitches in a third, and that's our deaf audience, huh?
That's right. And listeners, you'll have to excuse my voice and possibly my coughing this episode. I'm a little under the weather.
Did you guys see the newest Rogan episode? I think this one was an Elon Musk episode.
Oh, no, I hadn't.
No.
Well, what was he talking about?
Well, I mean, he was trying to defend the Cybertruck and its window and everything, but I don't know, man.
Interesting.
Yep. This is not working how I wanted it to.
No.
All right, guys.
It's so hard not to... Yeah.
We're going to improv here. I've got a challenge for you guys, okay?
All right.
So this is called the Say Bear Challenge. Can you guys see that okay?
Let me flip my video back on here. Okay. Say bear challenge, okay?
All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to put bear in front of every word and read it from the top down, okay?
Okay.
All right, go.
Bear, bear. Bear say. Bear two.
Wait. Are we switching off on these, or...?
You guys can read them at the same time or switch off. It's up to you.
All right, let's start over and switch off, Derek.
All right. Bear, bear.
Bear say.
Bear two.
Bear assholes.
Bear these.
Bear got.
Bear I.
Bear long.
Bear how.
Bear look.
Perfect. Now you're going to do it again, but you're going to put bear before and after. So the first one, for example, bear, bear, bear.
Okay, Derek, I'll go ahead and start first. Bear, bear, bear.
Bear say bear.
Bear to bear.
Bear assholes bear.
Bear these bear.
Bear got bear.
Bear I bear.
Bear long bear.
Bear how bear.
Bear look bear.
Now read it from bottom to top.
Just without bear?
Yep, without bear.
Look how long I got these assholes to say bear.
God damn it, dude. I totally did not see that coming.
And welcome to the Odd Pod, motherfuckers. Welcome.
You are a worthy opponent.
The whole time this was going down, I thought, okay, he's going to get us to say this, and then he's going to clip it up to where he forms a whole sentence, a whole string of things that we say to make us sound like assholes.
Yeah, dude.
But I'm like, no, I'm in charge of the editing. That's not what's happening here.
You did it all yourself.
So,
dude, that was quite the prank there.
You're very welcome.
That was pretty clever, Joel, because it's like that was straight improv. Like, we even tried to plan it out and it didn't go as well, so that was great.
Glad it worked out.
Improv in its truest fashion. God, I fucking hate improv.
So, noises in the sky. I don't know if anybody else has heard of this. Noises have been reported. Videos have been uploaded. It's some strange shit. Eric and Derek, what do you guys know about this?
Yeah, I don't know, man. This was kind of a bland topic. I'm going to call it. I think this is going to be a horrible episode. But
Later, buddy. You're on your own.
Thanks, guys.
No, this is quite the interesting phenomenon. I mean, one of the more well-known ones is the famous Windsor hum that was all over many of the different news stations throughout the world. And like Joel was saying, there's a multitude of areas around the world where people claim to have heard strange hum, varying in tone and intensity. Matter of fact, about only 2% of the population can actually hear it, typically resembling a monotonous subwoofer or a diesel truck engine idling in the distance. Some of the more well-known ones, and we're going to cover some more of the fringe, if you will, or more maybe unknown ones, but some of the more well-known ones are in the larger cities of Taos, New Mexico, Windsor, Ontario, Canada, shout out to Mandy O, and Auckland, New Zealand, and last is Bristol, England. In some of these cities, residents heard the hum for decades, while others say it just began within the past few years. So I'll cover those ones a little bit more later, but why don't we go ahead and jump into the first one?
Perfect. So we've got 5 different clips that we've kind of pulled together, and our clips really range literally from all over the world. So starting with Canada, Jerusalem, Philippines, Singapore, all the way to Germany. So some pretty crazy stuff. Derek, why don't you take us off with clip number 1? Let's hear it and tell us what you got.
So this first clip comes to us from Alberta, Canada, and it was dated on the 21st of January in 2012. I have to say, other than the wind hitting the microphone, it kind of has a quality about it where it sounds like the audio was pulled straight out of a horror movie, right?
Yeah.
It has that sound where it's building up, where something tense is about to happen.
Absolutely.
But I think I may have cracked the case on this one, guys. So.
Think so? Okay.
Wait.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Can we share our theories first?
But yeah, first I want to know what you guys think, because I don't want to say I know for certain what it is, but I'm 100% positive I got it. So
Okay.
So I guess my first impression of it was, as far as the video, I'm hoping you guys will look it up as well.
All of these videos can be found on YouTube, but they can also be found at strangesounds.org. That's where a majority of these are.
Yeah.
There's a whole website dedicated to it because a lot of people say it's faked. A lot of people say it's HARP. A lot of people say there's various things that people say they are. Checking Snopes, it has mixed reviews. Snopes said it had too many facts to be proven wrong, but not enough information to be proven true. So, I mean, it's kind of up for your interpretation of what you think it might be, if it's really there or if it's some chubby chunkster sitting behind his laptop throwing out these videos from all over the place. It's really up to you.
Yeah.
JJ, is this you making these videos?
Damn it, you cracked the case.
So we'll go ahead and include the links in our social media posts so you guys can check those out as well. So when I watch this video, I mean, first of all, I don't know if it's the guy's property that he's on or what, but man, it's beautiful.
I have to assume so. That's kind of the impression I got, where he just walked out into his front yard or something.
Yeah, absolutely. It really is beautiful, though.
It's amazing, dude. The view there. So I guess my first impression of the sounds was, to me, it kind of sounded like a cello playing over an amplified source, kind of like a melodical Gregorian massage kind of chanty, type vibe to it.
Big words.
Right. Look out. And the other thing that I thought of was, have you guys ever seen those videos where people take rocks and they throw rocks on like frozen lakes or frozen ponds? Yeah.
Yes.
So when I heard the sound on this one, not every single note, but every single pitch, if you will, sounded like this. But there were several that reminded me of kind of like that like vibraty kind of sound that when you hit something that has water involved in it is kind of what it reminded me of.
Absolutely. I remember us up above Whitaker Creek, in between Florence and Eugene, shooting the ice with a shotgun, and not the initial sound you hear, but the vibrations afterward, just that vibration, the low frequencies, that's what reminded me the most, that and War of the Worlds.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that definitely comes up a lot in a lot of these videos is the fucking tripod alien things and the crazy sounds that comes from it. But so, Joel, did you have any theories or what really stood out to you about this video?
Yeah, about the first video out of Canada, like you said, the landscape is just beautiful. Everything's snow covered. Gives me the impression that the elevation is super high, which in my theory kind of goes with why it would be louder and clearer at that kind of elevation.
Amplify the sound, yeah.
Right. And the reason I get the elevation impression is, there's a lot of snow, which tells me, it is Canada, first of all, but high up in the mountains, because there are mountains back behind him, and it looks like the clouds are like touching the mountain, which just gives the impression of high elevation. So I'm not going to tell you what I think it is until we get done
Didn't know
with
we had
the
a
5 clips.
fucking geologist on our hands.
But I do have some interesting thoughts.
Yeah, he was definitely paying more attention to that video than I was. So.
Yeah, but I'll save what I think it is until we get to the end.
Okay, yeah. So Derek, what did you find out?
Okay, I think I've cracked the case on this one, guys. So, elephants, right?
Okay.
We all know they're native to Canada. The time frame of the video when it was posted matches their migration patterns. And, well, I think this is a case of elephants in the sky. Like,
Hey Joel, can I pull you aside for a sec?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think this is working out with him, dude.
Yeah, I agree. We gave him a fair shot, but this theory, come on.
Elephants in the sky, guys.
I mean, I think he went to community college at least. I don't know.
That's probably the problem, community college.
Yeah, okay. We should probably end this sidebar. Okay.
Absolutely. Anyway.
You were saying?
Yeah, so elephants in the sky, right?
Yeah.
By way of osmosis.
Osmosis.
I can't see any other way around it. The elephants travel together, and sometimes, in the hotter climate that we all know Canada is known for, the elephants get hot, and so, as one would expect, they evaporate and turn into clouds.
This is not Dumbo, Derek.
I'm speechless. What?
I know.
What?
So
you've never heard of cloud elephants?
Let's move on to the next clip here.
Damn it, Derek. No, wait. What was did you have an actual theory on this one, Joel?
So I do, but it's my theory for all of them.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not sharing.
Okay, so I guess if I had to guess what this was, I'm going to kind of go back to the rock skipping type sound But I think that there's some sort of like maybe mining equipment or something that is near that water source that is vibrating enough to move the water up against the ice, if you will, along with the enclosed formation that's kind of around that whole pond or lake, whatever it is. And I'm guessing that's what's making the sound. That's my guess.
Yeah, good thought. Definitely a great thought.
One thing I noticed that kind of stood out to me was there seems to be this, and I'm sure this is backed up by anybody who happens to catch one of these events on camera, if you were to ask them. It seems like the sound is kind of equally surrounding them from all points, from all sides, where they can't really determine where it's coming from, where the source of the origin is.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Where it seems like traditionally when there's a sound made, like from, say, a gun, for example, the source of the noise is at its loudest point from the source of the origin.
Right.
And then as the sound waves go out, it just dissipates over time. Here, it seems like it's constant. It holds the same tone all throughout from beginning to end.
Right. I did notice that as well.
I think that's kind of attributing to what Joel was talking about as far as the backdrop of the mountains and everything. Mm-hmm. Kind of the reverberation of not really being able to figure out, kind of like if you were in a cave trying to figure out where a sound was coming from, good luck, man.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Bouncing from all these different surfaces and then just too much going on to really pinpoint where the hell it was coming from. And that's a majority of these videos, saying it came from the sky or it's coming from the sky. If something is coming from a source that large, you have no clue, or that far away even.
Right.
There's just no way to pinpoint it.
Why don't you go ahead and take us into that second one, dude?
Excellent. So we'll go ahead and move into clip 2. So this video came from Jerusalem. Now, the sound was in my opinion, very similar to what was happening in the first episode, but it sounded much more high pitch. So those low notes you were having didn't really exist in the second clip. Now,
so you'd say it's more of a high frequency?
It's more of a high frequency. Same pattern.
Fascinating.
But more high pitch.
Okay.
In this clip, I mean, you really have to watch this clip for yourself, but there's a lot of strange things going on in it that made me feel that it was faked.
Oh, really?
And the reason for that,
thank God. I was going to say,
dude, I have a completely different take.
So,
really?
It's these gentlemen, and they're basically standing on a hill overlooking Jerusalem. And they are hearing this noise, and the eerie part is that there are other people there reacting to it.
Right.
So, I mean, if you're the only one reacting to it in a town full of people, you faked it. It's absolutely fake. But since there are other people reacting to it, it makes me think there was a noise. Whether it was the noise we hear, that's to be determined. But the freaky thing going on in the sky is what really drew me.
Yes.
And it's like a giant ring, and it's almost like everything inside this ring is traveling in one direction and sucking it up. It almost
towards the center. Yeah.
Right, towards the center. It almost becomes in a biblical sense.
Yeah, I'm so glad you took it here,
the
man.
The trumpets. I mean, it really blew me away.
Well, so here's the thing. It just seems like it's too perfect an event to have gone down the way it did.
Right.
It takes place in Jerusalem.
Yeah.
You see this circle cloud form.
Like God's hand.
I just want to say, personally, I looked at, and what I happened to see was maybe a crown of thorns.
Sure. Okay.
Huh.
Okay. I didn't have that perspective, but yeah.
They talk about the trumpets, which is obviously a reference to a signal of the end times in the Bible. You'll hear trumpets in the sky. And so all these things coming together just seem too perfect to believe. And really, you think if it did go down that way, why are we still here?
Right. And did you guys...
The apocalypse have happened?
Right. And did you guys notice the Mad Max style, dust storm that was headed their way too?
Yeah, I saw that in the corner.
I think I may have missed that.
Yeah, because, it's like a total giant dust storm from every direction with the circle, which is just bizarre.
Okay.
So I'm really glad that you guys brought up the 7 trumpets. I don't know if you guys... I've listened to this video probably 10 to 15 times now.
Okay.
Because my first take was I didn't really hear much, I didn't really see much.
Sure.
And then I was kind of noticing, the second time around, I saw the ring of the clouds, and I saw how perfect it was. And then I was thinking about, it being Jerusalem, and I was like, man, maybe there's something more to the sound. So I listened and I listened and I listened. And I don't know if you guys caught it, but if you time out all of the trumpet sounds, there are literally 7 cues.
You're kidding me.
No. That's why
What?
I was like, what the fuck, dude? And this could totally be faked. This could totally be faked. But I don't know, man.
I think adds to what I went on further. It's too perfect. It can't, all this stuff lining up. But in the end, it's like, if it were really supposed to be what it was, which was a signal for the end times, why are we still here?
Right. Are we in a phase? That brings so many more questions.
Yeah, well, let's take this a step further. So, I just want to, break down, as far as my take with it, it's a beautiful setting over the city of Jerusalem. You start hearing these loud trumpet and even flute noises, if you will.
Yeah.
And 3/4 of the way through, again, I watched this video 10 to 15 times. There is a loud roar about 3/4 of the way through. And if you also take into account the perfect round circle looking ring around the clouds, it kind of reminded me of Independence Day, when the giant mothership is seen from, they show bits of the Middle East, and they show obviously the United States and places in the jungle.
Oh yeah, because this thing is just so massive.
Yeah, and so I was like, holy shit, dude, that's crazy. I've never seen any type of formation like that. But I guess the significance is kind of what I wanted to describe. So the 7 trumpets is from the book of Revelations in the Bible. Okay. And there's a strong significance of the 7 trumpets, and what it means is it's a sign of the second coming of Jesus.
Okay.
So this is kind of like an excerpt from the Bible. This is basically paraphrased, but so the 7 trumpets are sounded, one at a time, to cue the apocalyptic events seen by John of Patmos in his vision, Revelations 1:1. The 7 trumpets are sounded by 7 angels, and the events that follow are described in detail from Revelations 8:1-2. The angels sound these trumpets after breaking the 7th seal. These seals secured the apocalyptic document held in the right hand of him who sits on the throne. The trumpets are referred to in Koine Greek as salpingos or salpinx. This was a straight, narrow bronze tube with a mouthpiece of bone and a bell. They do not resemble modern trumpets whatsoever. So I took it a step further because I used to be involved in a church, and we heard all sorts of interesting theories and everything, but I really didn't know the details about what the 7 trumpets meant. But it's broken down, so I'll try to just kind of breeze through this. But
okay.
So the first trumpet, upon the sound of the first trumpet, hail and fire mingled with blood is thrown to earth, burning up 1/3 of the trees on the planet and all green grass.
Whoa.
So I was like, you know what? I'm going to check this out. I'm just going to, kind of read through these and see what happens. So what's super interesting, again, take this for what it is, or if you think it's faked, whatever, but it's just fascinating. So first of all, the Amazon jungle, okay?
On fire.
Second of all, Australia on fire.
Right.
So I was like, damn, dude, this is interesting. What if
you went deep here, man? I'm impressed. That adds up.
This one was recent too. This one was I think this one was 2018, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
So
June
I kind of said the same thing that you guys did. I was like, okay, so if the trumpets sounded, why isn't the end coming? Well, it's a slow progression. So
that's what I would have thought. But I mean, when I heard all 7 of them sound off in that one video, it's like, I would have just expected one, you know?
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So then the second trumpet, to continue on, with the sounding of the second trumpet, something described as a great mountain burning with fire plunges into the sea and turns a third of the oceans to blood. Soon after, a third of all sea life and a third of all ships will be destroyed. Some speculate that the great mountain will be an asteroid cast from the heavens. So that's just, take it for what it is, but I'll just continue on with the trumpets, because I found this really interesting, and I just
absolutely,
wanted to see if there's any relevance to anything that's going on.
I didn't even stop to consider that.
Yeah, so the third trumpet sounds. With the sounding of the third trumpet, a great star called Wormwood falls to the earth, poisoning a third of the planet's freshwater sources, such as rivers and springs. Men will die from drinking its bitter taste. Something else that's interesting is wormwood. Have you ever heard of absinthe?
Yeah.
I believe so.
So there's actually a bit of wormwood within absinthe.
You're kidding me.
Just an interesting fact.
Huh.
The fourth trumpet. Sounding the fourth trumpet, a third of the light that shines from the sun, moon, and stars become dark from the celestial bodies being struck. This catastrophe causes complete darkness for a third of the day, even through the night hours. This is the final trumpet that sounds before the three woes, also known as the fifth, sixth, and seventh trumpets. The fifth trumpet is the first woe of three. Before this trumpet sounds, an angel, translated as eagle in some versions, which is really interesting too, because people have seen eagle clouds. It's a thing in Jerusalem.
Really?
Appears and warns, woe, woe, woe to those who dwell on the earth, because of the remaining blasts of the trumpet of the three angels who are about to sound. The fifth trumpet prompts a personified star to fall from heaven. The star is given the key to the bottomless pit. After opening it, the smoke that rises out of the pit darkens the air and blocks the sunlight. Then from out of the smoke, the locusts are unleashed. The locusts are scorpion-tailed war horses that have a man's face with lion's teeth. What the fuck?
I think I would remember seeing that. I don't think that's happened yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah, no doubt, dude. They have a man's face, lion's teeth, their hair is long, and they fly with locust-like wings. They are adorned with golden crowns and protected with iron breastplates. So this kind of goes on for...
They all have little crowns on? What?
Yeah.
Right.
So it kind of goes into more detail. I'm going to go ahead and skip to the sixth one. After the fifth trumpet blasts, the sixth one sounds. This is the second woe, where four angels are released from their binds in the great river Euphrates. They command a force of 200 million mounted troops, whose horses exude plagues of fire and, I lost my place, smoke and brimstone from their mouths. The mounted horsemen wore breastplates with the color of fire, hyacinth, and brimstone. The horses are lions' heads and lions' tails, and the plagues exuding from the horses will kill a third of all mankind. So no big deal there. The final trumpet sounds. The sound of the seventh trumpet signals the third and final woe. This is the final trumpet. Loud voices in heaven will say, "The kingdom of the world has become the kingdom of our Lord and of his Messiah, and he will reign forever and ever."
Wow.
Thanks for getting through the seven trumpets with us, guys. I know that.
Yeah. No, I'm so glad we have so much to look forward to.
What I took away from this is some pretty sick, kick-ass horses. I mean...
No doubt, dude.
Lions' heads and tails, and they unleash plagues and fire. Sick.
Yeah, dude. I mean, if you're around after that, try to tame one of those bad boys like a Red Dead mission.
Oh, yeah. I could be shooting those locusts with scorpion tails with a 12-gauge, man. Taking their little breastplates, melting them down, making more fucking beads, bro.
Oh, shit.
Good stuff. Take their crowns. Perfect. Right on. Thanks for digging into that, man. I didn't even stop to consider that, so... My list of theories just got a little bit bigger. That was great stuff.
I was kind of looking at the broad strokes of, well, people kind of broke it into, I think it was 4 categories of it being possibly biblical, something otherworldly, so like aliens.
Sure.
A natural sound created by the earth, or, it was man-made, like you mentioned earlier, like a diesel truck stalling or something in the distance.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it didn't really occur to me too, significant at first, like I said, but then when I watched it and I literally heard 7 of them sounding off, I was like, dude, that's insane. Like, I was kind of anticipating to hear 7, and I was like, no way. I kept saying, like, don't be one more, and then there was one more, so I was just like, And there's, I don't know, like, Lord knows what it could be. But,
Right.
I mean, this is definitely one that, was within the realm of possibility. I mean...
You're looking up in the sky, you're like, oh no, not one more, not one more, no.
Fuck, there it is.
No, there it is. We're doomed.
So, Derek, go ahead, for our listeners, go ahead and insert that clip at the end of this part 2, just so we can hear it again in case anybody wants to count or, focus on that. That would be really good.
Yeah, for sure. So
then I'll
the
just fuck with them and add in like a shit ton of more trumpets.
Yes.
His loud-ass trumpet blast and then breaks into mariachi music.
Dude, I'm totally gonna do that.
Do it.
Okay, so the third one comes to us by the way of Loban, Batangas, Philippines. This one lasted several minutes, and this particular video anyway. And it was around June 5th, 2015. So let me set the scene for you if you decide not to watch the video. I don't know why you wouldn't, but I'm going to go on. So it's a very overcast day. You're basically like in the jungle, if you will, in the Philippines. Slightly kind of stormy looking, which is unlike the other two videos. The other two videos were pretty clear sky, with a little bit of clouding. So this one is a little different. It's just kind of, strange sounds. Like the description that I have here is there's some animal noises in the background, which you would suspect for the jungle setting.
Animals freaking out. That was my impression, is animals were, there was an actual sound because of the way the wildlife was reacting.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I heard a lot of birds chirping, it was just all throughout.
Yeah, so like I said, the typical jungle noises, but the actual strange noises that don't really seem to match the area unless there are these type of ungulates there. But it sounded like elk, like an elk calling, like a distress call.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's elk in the Philippines or not. I don't know if we can. Let's look that up really quick.
Yeah, I'm curious. I don't know if there are. But to me, man, like, so far, all of these sounds have sounded very, very similar. A few minor differences, but a majority, same pattern, basically the same frequency, some higher notes versus lower notes, but all pretty much on the same page.
Yeah, I think the overall arcing thing that people, it's a similar sound. They all just describe it as what might be called trumpets in the sky. That's the only thing they can compare it to.
Right. So upon looking up to see if there are elk in the Philippines, this already kind of takes out that theory. The only thing that has come close is it's called the Visayan spotted deer, which is also known as the Philippine spotted deer, but it's nocturnal and an endangered species. So this was clearly taken in the daytime too. So I don't think we could count it as that. But I mean, it honestly.
I'm really surprised actually they have any kind of wildlife similar to a deer. I mean, it is endangered, but that is very surprising to me. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess like the two things that came to mind were an elk call, which you can obviously count that out. And then it sounded like Jurassic fucking Park, dude.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, as I was watching the video. So the clip, obviously, it's shot from someone's phone. It's not the best in terms of visual content, but that's not really, what's important here. What's important is the sound. And so in the beginning, you can hear this loud scrape across the sky, almost like a jet or something.
Yep.
But, it has the tone that almost makes you think it's pulling some kind of Mach speed at a high elevation.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are these birds chirping, like I said, a lot of birds. And then there's this really loud noise, which to me sounded like, personally, a pterodactyl call.
Right.
And that can be heard through about halfway through the video. And then closer to the end, you hear this more of a lower tone roar that sounded almost like a dragon or a T-Rex or something. And so the video was pretty interesting to me, and for a split second, like you mentioned, the Jurassic Park, I almost expected to see the Jurassic Park logo flying from beneath the clouds, like, oh, this is just an intro.
Or maybe you're expecting to see a naked cowboy riding a T-Rex. Oh, call back.
Yeah, totally. Howdy there, partner.
Yeah.
I've got two things to say about this video, man. So another thing, like we were talking about earlier, contributing to being able to pinpoint the source.
Mm-hmm.
So other than it being, stormy, there's trees everywhere, right? So the trees, again, the sound bouncing off these trees, that's going to cause an issue to pinpoint.
Right.
The other part is, so I don't know, I know you guys have been out in the woods. I know you guys have fired guns. Have you ever been out in the woods and you hear all these birds chirping and you fire around and magically the forest goes silent?
Yeah.
So, in the jungle, why did these birds seem to react to the noise as if they've heard it before or were used to it versus not go silent like a gunshot? You know what I mean? That was just kind of my perspective.
For sure. I mean, I guess to kind of counteract that, Derek and I have actually had the quite opposite effect, where when we've gone out and actually tried to murk some birds, the more we fire,
I say successfully.
we did, but
legal hunting for food.
The forest goes silent. But I can recall one instance where I just happened to see a bird, and without thinking, it was like just quick instinct. I pull my gun out, get it ready, take aim, and bap, and then the bird just lets out this, falls to the forest floor. And then Eric was just like, he had enough time to turn around. He didn't even see what happened.
Oh, I remember hearing that. Eric told me about it because it was a rather large bird, wasn't it?
No, this one was tiny.
That was me.
All the large birds Eric's taken out from midair. It's not like they were even perched on a tree or anything.
Like a naked cowboy on the back of a T-Rex busting on a six-shooter. Fucking pow!
Call back.
He would lead them, get a beat on them, and just like, boom. And then they just, next thing we know, go down. We're like, okay, let's walk around, see if we can find it. We're like spending 15, 20 minutes like, dude, we're never going to find it. We're never going to find it. And then finally we find it, and I'm like, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, so
I would
guess
say that's one of Eric's talents for sure.
Now that we're telling stories, the one I have to share just because I'm pretty proud of it, and we're about to lose all of our vegan listeners.
Oh no!
So I think it was Jake and I. Jake and I were out scouting and we're just kind of fucking around. And I had my very first gun was a bolt action 22, and it just had iron sights on it. And this thing was like a fucking Russian sniper rifle, dude. I saw this bird. I just kind of saw the shadow overcast the ground I was walking in. And when you're young, you're a kid, you're dumb. You just shoot up into the sky like, oh, you see a plane, like I'm just gonna see what happens. Well, I just barely see this bird crest the little bead sight of my 22, and I fire, and I look away immediately. So I'm like, oh, that's not gonna hit that thing. And all of a sudden, I look down and I hear, poof, and it just hits the bird's body. And I look up in complete shock and horror because I'm like, well, now what am I going to do? And I see the bird's wings fold in and it spirals to the ground.
Oh, dude.
And Jake and I found it, and he had some fishing string or some sort of a rope or something. And
find it?
Yeah, we found it. And we discovered that it was a turkey vulture.
Oh, shit.
And now that the statute of limitations is up for bird murder for a migratory bird, I can now say this. But I accidentally took out a turkey vulture. I don't know if you've ever seen one of these motherfuckers up close, but I was
They are
definitely doing
enormous.
everybody a service by murking this thing. Anyway.
Yeah, they're nasty creatures.
So now we've discovered a third of our listeners are deaf. Now there's a second third of our listeners that are vegan, which we also no longer have. So now we're down to about 13 listeners.
And I'd say, I mean, after our comments
Actually,
about
the statistics
Kobe,
show about 6. So
Fair enough.
hanging
Right.
in there. Yeah.
right. And with that, let's bring in clip number 4.
Was ist das?
Ich habe keine Ahnung, der Junge da unten guckt auch. Ich weiß es nicht. Was ist da was?
So did you guys have any theories on this one? Or Joel, is your theory kind of...
So yeah, like I said, going back to what you said about in the first clip, the mining equipment.
Yeah.
That, that kind of, based on the location of all of these videos, I mean, that does kind of make sense. I mean, there are like gold dredges and stuff in the Philippines in the jungle.
Jungle gold, baby.
So that really makes sense. That really sticks with me. It's not what I was thinking, but it definitely is an interesting fact that you brought up.
Kind of opens up the door for more possibilities.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what's so great about long form conversations, man, is like you think you have, a solid opinion on something, and if somebody gets the platform to actually discuss and get their ideas out there, like have a completely different perspective,
Yep, absolutely.
No, I double down.
Double down.
I didn't really have a whole lot to say about this one. It's short. It's very short. It's actually only 34 seconds long and has more of the same of what we'd already described in these other clips, but at a much lower tone, which tells you that the source of the sound is much, much further away from this person recording it. I will say this, however, there's no way this is fake. Absolutely no way.
I didn't think so either.
There's just no way you're going to go out of your way to even bother making a 30-second video about something like this and do it so poorly.
Right.
Yeah.
Plus uploading it to YouTube. And, I mean, we have a few more things as good evidence to back this up. So there's a person in the street looking out in the direction of the noise and saying something. We can hear other voices directly behind the camera talking. I don't know about what. I can only imagine it's about the noise they're hearing, but...
Yeah, they're in Germany, so I imagine it's
they're
German.
Speaking some kind of gobbledygook sauerkraut I couldn't quite understand.
Ich weiden tippen Sie auf das.
Right. So actually, no, you know what? Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna run those guys through a translator and see if we can't figure out just what it was they were saying.
Was ist das?
Ich habe keine Ahnung, der Junge da unten guckt auch. Ich weiß es nicht. Was ist da was?
Hang on a sec. Okay. Alright, here we go.
Be sure to check out the Oddpod at anchor.fm/the Oddpod. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Whoa, that was weird, guys.
Wow, I didn't expect that, man.
That was really weird. Okay, well, I mean, I think that just lends more proof that there's no way this video could have been faked.
No way at all.
No.
Okay, so as far as trying to set the scene here, so it's obviously we know it's in Germany, and it's a suburban setting. There's a lot of folks outside investigating the sound, and like Derek alluded to, the person in the street. That's the thing that actually creeped me out the most, dude. It looked like a fucking cholo from Lord of the Rings, dude, like a halfling cholo.
Yeah, cholo.
Standing in the street and like doing something with his hands. I couldn't tell what the hell he was doing, but I was so fixated.
Thought it was a man? I thought it was like an old woman.
Dude, I don't know what that creature was, but I was so fixated on what the fuck they were doing. And then the sounds came secondary. So I was kind of more shocked when I heard the sounds because I was so fixated on that weird looking creature.
Yeah, right. Apparently. Yeah.
So there's now to kind of go back to what you were saying where you said this can't be faked. So I also think that, but mine was because my reasoning.
So let me. It could be faked, like anything.
It could be,
but
yeah.
I don't like the circumstances involved with this one over the Halo ring, the 7 trumpets in Israel. Like, right. I mean, come on, no one's gonna fake this shit.
Shit's real, bro.
And to me, man, I mean, it's like I got the impression watching it, and like a husband and a wife casually just kicking it at home, and they hear this noise, so they grab a phone, start recording, and then little Jimmy out in the street playing kickball or whatever the fuck he's doing.
Husband and a wife, dude. We are totally getting like. Did we watch the same video? Because I heard what sounded like 2 men.
I thought it was a man and a woman.
What happens in Germany stays in Germany, dude.
Yeah, maybe Germans are just naturally weird. I don't know.
Could be, bro.
So I guess the manner and how it started recording, it's like you were saying, Joel. There was 2 people were hanging out, and the person filming was moving pretty rapidly toward the window, and then they just immediately started recording. So it was like something was going on, and then that weird little creature was also observing, trying to figure out where the sound was coming from. So to me, it like. My first impression was like dragons, like again Jurassic Park like sounds, which is it's strange that it's kind of the same similar sound,
Right, absolutely.
I also thought it was kind of interesting. It's the only person visibly that you can see outside at this time.
Yeah,
they're in the middle of the street where this creature is, as you would describe it.
So I didn't really have any solid theories on this one because I just don't think there's enough to go off of. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily think it was faked, but I decided to once again look toward the comments on this section.
Sure.
And the one that I saw first, which I think is fucking hilarious, and for those who played Skyrim, it said, "Dragonborn, get to the Whiterun to alert the Jarl at once." Because it sounds like a fucking dragon's about to fly over the 2-story houses like any minute. But
that's excellent.
Now, as to some of the theories, somebody said that they live in that same general area, and that there is a motor speedway called Nürburgring.
Okay.
I don't know if it stands for something or if it's translated something in English, but about 30 minutes away. So it could be, high performance vehicles making that sound. But 30 minutes away that's quite the distance. I don't know if I'm buying that sound.
Right. I mean,
well, and here's the thing: if that was an established, like that was a place, and that's what they did, why would it suddenly catch the attention of people who would have known about this?
True.
Exactly.
For as long as I'm sure they've been living there.
That's a very good point.
And I mean, today's culture, man, like, your kid falls down and starts crying, and I'm not saying everybody, but a majority of the time, the first instinct is grab your phone to record it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or to take a picture. And so
your kid is a bitch, yeah.
Right. But, like the first thing these people did was grab a phone and run towards the window. That with the other person reacting to it, man. I mean, it's clearly a noise is there. Now, like I said, I've got my theory about what it is, and we'll talk about that shortly.
Damn, you're still saving that, huh?
I'm saving it, man. Like,
fair enough.
I'm pretty sure I know what it is. So,
does it encompass everything that we've seen so far?
If your theory is true, that would mean that it has a blanket truth to all these.
Correct. The same point, same thing causing all of these videos.
All right, sounds juicy.
So as far as this Germany one goes, there's two more theories that I found interesting looking through the comments. So I'm going to share one, and then I'm going to share the one that I think probably is the closest to the truth. So the next one was another person said that they live somewhere near that area. I don't know how they determined exactly where that place is, but they said that there is a shipping yard that's nearby. And the sounds that you're hearing is shipping containers being moved around. Again, I don't. I mean, it makes sense. I don't necessarily think I believe that one because, like you said, people that live there would have gotten used to hearing dinosaur sounds coming from a shipping yard, and not running to film it. But
right,
yeah. I mean, if they have all these things, these loud sources of noise around them, it wouldn't suddenly just sound so different that they
exactly,
decide to record it.
Right.
For sure.
So then the last theory that I actually side with here is a theory that hypersonic aircraft making short passes back and forth at high altitude with low pressure may change how sonic shockwaves propagate. Now, as to what that means is aircraft are in certain type of weather situations, and it makes that noise.
Okay.
That's about it.
Planes are loud and they fly high.
Yeah, so I'm going with that one for now until I.
Planes are loud and they're in the sky, so
Yeah, exactly.
That much we know for sure.
Right.
Fair enough. Cool. Let's bring in clip number 5. This one actually comes out of Singapore. Really, all I have to say about this one is it's the same similar sound like we've seen in all of these videos. This one to me seems quieter or further away.
Yeah.
But ultimately it's basically the same sound in a different setting.
I mean, honestly, the setup is pretty similar from the last one in Germany, where you have someone looking out a window from a building, and it's horrible, man. I mean, unlike the others, there's this very almost unnaturally loud room noise in the foreground, which makes it hard to isolate what you really want to hear in this clip. Almost like, I don't know, someone had the air conditioner on. And apart from that, I don't really think there's as much to say about it. Nothing that really stood out or jumped out at me.
See, I had a completely different take than you guys did. I guess there's a couple things here. So with this one, something right off the bat, as I found really fascinating, is you're overlooking a city that is still progressing and growing. You can see construction, kind of happening on the nearby buildings. But something that's still pretty prevalent that I just found is kind of interesting is the animal noises that are outside. It's like you think you're in the city, but there's still nature like all around. It's not like your typical, noises that we're used to here. It's more like tropical type animals. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. But so like I was saying before, like there's a whole lot of construction going on. And so, there could be some explanation for the sounds from the construction alone that's going on. But something that I noticed is the actual type of structure seems a little interesting. It's stucco type brick building. But it looked like it had like metal.
Very industrial looking.
Yeah, exactly. Which actually speaks to the metal framing that is not part of the construction, but it's actually like decorative, if you will. Like metal decorative framing around the building to kind of make it look more industrial. I don't know if it has any structural integrity or not to it, but that's what I think the sound is. Because of the height that they're at, it's a pretty tall building that they're in. And the way that the wind would interact with the metal tubing, I think the sounds are coming from that.
Huh, okay.
Well, it definitely sounds like it played a part in the shitty sound quality of the video overall.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because the room noise is just, it's almost like someone cranked up the volume to whatever device they were recording this from. So you hear this fuzzy noise that's just, it's so hard to pinpoint the noise in the background you want to hear, which is what they're trying to record.
The only other interesting thing I'll say about this is one comment that I read, which is just interesting that I think one of you said something about higher frequencies earlier.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So again, kind of in relation to the seven trumpets and the theory about, the biblical portion of it, is somebody wrote, and it was very plain, it was God speaks through frequency.
Huh.
And so I was just like, that's kind of interesting.
They use that direct translation.
Yeah, that says God speaks through frequency.
Right on.
So I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely interesting. Cool. So overall, Derek, what is your theory? In every video, is it a different source, or are all the sources the same?
They all sound very similar, so I'm going to say it's the same thing. But as far as people's ability to capture it, obviously from what we've seen and we've played in these clips, it varies drastically in some cases.
Yeah.
But I think I have an overall arching theory as to what this is.
What's that?
I believe that
it's aliens.
It is...
Not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens.
No. Yeah, so I think that what it is God moving his coffee table across his hardwood floor in his one-bedroom apartment. It just makes nothing but sense.
He has one bedroom?
I mean, yeah, he's feng shuiing the place. He's moving his coffee table around. This is the heavy mahogany coffee table, Eric.
Damn. You're telling me...
Across hardwood floor.
You're telling me the Lord of all creation lives in a one-bedroom apartment and he has a mahogany table? You don't think he can afford some better wood? Like some rare Brazilian oak or some shit?
He's not about flash, Eric, okay? You don't know him like I
do. Fair enough, bro.
That's great. Cool.
He's a humble guy, all right?
Yeah.
He's very modest.
So, Eric, let's flip that question to you, man. What do you think it is?
I don't know, dude. I think it's I'm kind of with the general crowd here, is that there's really no explanation to it. I think it's kind of all different stuff. Like when I put my skeptical, hat on, not my tinfoil hat, but my skeptical one, I think
skeptical
that
spectacles.
Spectacles. Yeah, I like that. Skeptical spectacles. Try to say that 10 times fast, fuckface.
Spectacle testicles. Yeah.
So I think the first one is some sort of, equipment that's near the source of water, maybe even under the source of water, making that sound. The second one, dude, the city of Jerusalem, I'm going to go with Jesus Christ coming back any day now.
Okay.
I mean, in all seriousness, the theory I had was kind of like maybe a shift in tectonic plates, like some...
Yeah, I saw that come
So
up too.
from the ground versus the sky?
Yeah, but I kind of quickly shot my own theory down with that when I realized that usually, you would expect some kind of earthquake or shaking or movement to be followed by the sound.
Sure.
Fair enough, yeah.
But there wasn't really any of that I could see, so...
The third one in the Philippines, honestly, I was kind of pointed towards the tectonic plates as well.
Mm-hmm.
This one I didn't really, like I said, I didn't really have enough to go off of. So for this one, dinosaurs. And moving on. The fourth one in Germany, I'm going to have to go with the hypersonic aircraft making short passes, yada yada, all that.
So you're just knocking these out one after another, like you have different theories for each one.
Yeah, dude.
Right. He's got these different theories each one.
These all make sense to me.
Okay.
And then Singapore, this one I wasn't really that thrilled with. This was one I was like, I think this is really easily explained. It was just kind of like, oh man, that's a weird sound. Let me grab my phone and post this on YouTube. I think it's something to do with the construction and the height that they're at, and the way the wind kind of goes into the concaves and convexes of the structure.
Yeah, totally. God moving his coffee table.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Something like that. So, okay. Joel, I cannot wait to hear your over-encompassing theory.
This has been building. This is going to be the thing that saves this episode. I want to know what you have to say, man.
So, we've got the same sound in these 5 clips. We've got the same sound all over the different websites. We've got this mysterious hum, which, by the way, the people that believe in the hum call themselves hummers. I thought that was funny.
No shit.
They do. But ultimately, it's the same sound. It's just much quieter, which would tell me a much greater distance. Again, we've got Snopes saying there's too many facts to say it's fake. There's not enough information to say it's real. I stumbled across something called Project Bluebeam.
Oh, I'd heard of this.
Now, dude, I've been wanting to talk about this.
Project Bluebeam is, I I'm not going to give in too much because I'm hoping that we might, in a later episode, cover conspiracy theories. We will each pick one. Anyway, so Project Bluebeam basically, and I'll break it down in short form, is a conspiracy theory that claims that NASA is attempting to implement a new age religion with the Antichrist at its head and to start a new world order via technologically simulated, oh my God, second
I didn't
coming.
know that's the way that
technologically
word was broken
simulated second coming.
That's amazing.
Oh wow! So it's going to be like a fabricated second coming, so that people believe that it's real, which completely could. I mean, especially with not only AI but VR coming out, where people are already questioning reality and simulation. Like, I feel like this would be a pretty easy feat to pull off using, technologically. Technologically. I think you're adding in like 7 more syllables, but that's okay.
Anyway, so.
Okay. Blue beam, huh?
So fair enough. Fair enough. That's not actually my theory, though.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I just wanted to share this info. So Project Bluebeam's a thing, but there's this other thing out there called HARP. HAARP.
Right.
Are you guys familiar with what HARP is?
It's basically weather control, in short, right?
Weather-controlled weapon, essentially.
Yeah.
Cause other countries to flood, cause massive earthquakes to our enemies, that sort of shit.
Cause droughts.
Exactly. So, I kind of looked into HARP a little bit, and, the European Union called the project a global concern.
Yeah.
Which tells me it's not a good thing. Right. And there's literally hundreds and hundreds of conspiracy theorists that say, HARP is weaponizing the weather. But again, that's not my theory.
Well, it sounds like they're doing a shitty job with it, man.
Mm-hmm. I really have.
Damn. Dude, he's just building this more on us. He told us about Project Bluebeam. He tickled our balls there, but we still didn't get to explode. And then he went further into talking about HARP, which he still doesn't believe is the factoid.
He's the culprit here, man.
Yeah, the culprit.
Imagine if HARP was the thing. I mean, it'd be like Oprah would be like, you get a flood, and you get a flood, and you get a drought, and you can, like...
Exactly, man. And so that was...
They're blowing the 7 trumpets by themselves, man.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so you're going down a list, obviously, of different conspiracy theories here. Can I take a stab at guessing the next one?
Yeah, please. Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm guessing you're going to say chemtrails.
No.
Ah, okay.
Insert clip of Alex Jones talking about gay frogs. All the frogs are gay.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
That's excellent, but also not it. My thought process here is much, much simpler.
Okay.
And what it boils down to with my research, and I guess HARP can kind of play a factor, but I don't believe that they've been able to master the weather good enough for this. What I kind of think, it's thunder
from down under
in the stratosphere. It's thunder in the stratosphere.
In the dome?
Correct. It's thunder in the stratosphere, and that would be why it's heard all over the world, because these thunderstorms in the stratosphere are traveling at very high speeds, which is causing different times for different areas because it's moving so fast. And that is why it's the same noise with certain exceptions all over the world.
So what you're telling us is you're a flat earther.
I said around the world.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Now, by the time I'm finished with this, it won't.
Certain exceptions all over the world. Certain exceptions all over the world. All over the world. All over the world. All over the world. I said around the world.
All right. Yeah. Damn, dude, I like the theory. To kind of tie in more to that, I decided to look up more, like I was alluding to earlier, about the major cities that were talking about this hum.
Mm-hmm.
The ways that it affected these people was, quite a bit different. And like this article actually said, is that only about 2% of the population can actually hear it. Some people put their homes up for sale. Some people turned to medication to take their minds off of it. There were actually even 3 suicides linked to the mysterious hum. Doctors provided inadequate explanations ranging from tinnitus to people focusing too hard on background noises. Those who hear it say earplugs do nothing to silence it, leading some to believe the source is causing vibrations through sufferers' bodies. So that would kind of, relate to some of the theories that we talked about, where it's not necessarily like just a straight audio phenomenon, but it's actually like a vibration or some sort of a wave type thing.
Right.
But when one of the things that was mentioned here was doctors provided an explanation of tinnitus.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I actually suffer from tinnitus, and
same here.
Yeah, so I doubt that it's anything like that, because though tinnitus is really annoying at times, I definitely have the ability to be distracted from it or tune it out.
Stick in some earbuds and play some music.
Yeah, exactly.
And it goes away.
Yeah, or fall asleep to the TV on at night, because a lot of times, like when I first got it, I was just laying down, and we didn't used to watch TV while going to bed, and it would just be this constant ringing, man, which could be maddening, but
yeah.
So to continue on, Windsor, the Windsor hum.
Yes.
Windsor is situated across the river from Detroit, Michigan.
That almost sounds like an old school dance move, the Windsor hum.
Do the Windsor.
Yeah.
You mean like where all the Great Lakes are, where like a cold front and a warm front might meet each other in the atmosphere?
Interesting. Windsor is situated across the river from Detroit, Michigan, and several miles from a small island filled with industrial foundries and steel mills that many believe to be the source of the hum. It's called Zug Island. Zug Island is considered to be Detroit's Area 51, if you will.
What is this, Lord of the Rings? Zug Island?
Yeah, right, dude? Zug Island. So, the Zug Island is considered to be Detroit's Area 51, and every attempt to illuminate operations conducted there is met with staunch resistance from the government and corporations. The island, which was once a Native American burial ground, also fascinating, is heavily guarded by companies operating there, as well as the Department of Homeland Security. Spokespersons for the companies operating on Zug Island refuse to disclose their operations, while also denying the possibility they could be the source of the hum. So this could definitely be the ground zero, if you will, of Joel's theory, or at least part of it. The hum can only be heard on the Canadian side of the river, which is fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
No one in Detroit or elsewhere in Michigan can hear it. Some nights, Windsor residents say it gets so loud that it shakes their homes and rattles the glassware in the cupboards.
So it's definitely a directional thing that seems to be pointed towards one country over the other.
Right.
Which would lead you to believe that maybe we are responsible for it. We're just kind of like
government
aiming that speaker towards Canada.
Right. Sorry, Mandy.
I would also encourage you to take a look at the jet streams.
The jet streams?
Yeah, as far as on the river.
Correct. The river and where the northern hemisphere great winds come from, or whatever the hell it is. If you look at a weather map of where the winds are for specific times of year,
the air currents.
Right, the air currents, when they're more frequent. I mean, all of these things definitely
pull
a role.
How sounds can be carried on streams of water and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah, so one popular theory that many are familiar with is that the hum comes from a military program which employs very low-frequency radio waves, or VLF, for communications between submarines and aircraft, which would point to the fact that not many people can actually hear it.
Sure.
Kind of like the whole... You remember the whole Yanni and Laurel thing?
Oh, I do.
Yeah, I do remember that. And just like the Nikes or the Vans, what color do you see the dress? What color do you see type of deal?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
It almost sounds like some form of mental social engineering, because I'd heard when that was all going around the Yanni and Laurel, other people were coming up with different names altogether.
Insert clip.
Yeah, we'll have to insert that clip.
Laurel. 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 Laurel.
So since the source of the hum is obviously unknown and is infrequent and nearly impossible to pinpoint, it would make sense that it might be coming from an aircraft flying sporadic classified missions. But there are some flaws in the theory, such as the fact that there aren't hums reported in areas of the country where similar high-powered ground transmitters are located. Also, Taos, New Mexico is in a coastal area. It's in the Sangre de Cristo mountain range, at least 900 miles from the Gulf of Mexico or the Pacific Ocean. Taos, New Mexico, however, located a short distance from the Los Alamos National Laboratory, which isn't that where that guy that was on the Rogan podcast worked at? Was the Los Alamos?
Yeah, somewhere near there. I remember them mentioning it.
Yeah. So it's a military base originally built for the design of nuclear weapons during the Manhattan Project, which we should talk about a later time too. Today it continues to be involved in projects regarding nuclear security, defense, and energy. A last popular theory, some say, puts the hum conundrum to rest is that scientists have discovered the Earth itself gives off a subtle vibration at a frequency of 10 millihertz. Humans aren't supposed to be able to hear at this low a frequency, but some say there is a possibility sensitive ears could pick up on this. This delicate hum is thought to be caused by the force of the ocean moving against the surface of the planet, creating something called microseisms. These faint earth tremors are sometimes referred to as a hum, though skeptics say this is entirely different than the hum they hear. Microseisms can create electromagnetic noise signals, but the frequencies heard by those suffering from the hum are significantly higher than 10 millihertz. Many have measured local hums to be somewhere between 30 and 80. So, yeah, that was kind of the last theory, is that the Earth itself provides a hum.
Interesting.
Yeah, thought I'd share that article there.
Perfect. Well, hey, for all of our listeners out there, please let us know if you decide to look up the videos we're talking about. Links will be in the social media posts.
Yep.
Take a look, have a listen to those. Tell us your thoughts. If you don't want to look them up, and just tell us what you think they might be based on the information we've provided. We want to hear it. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We want to hear your theories. Let's please interact with us.
It pretty much all boils down to being the same phenomenon, so...
Same thing everywhere.
Whether or not that's strong evidence for or against it, I mean, you decide. But, yeah, I mean, it's definitely an interesting topic to cover. And, I mean, if Snopes can't figure it out, I think we're fucked. So.
Right.
Fair enough, dude. Yeah, so thanks for investigating the weird noises with us, guys. And, we are on all podcast platforms now. We're excited to announce that. And if you guys have any leads on any sponsors that are looking for, a podcast to join with, we'd love to peddle your shit for cash. So, let us know what you got. And don't judge a book by its grammar.
These are the secrets of a lost art. For the very first time, we're going to show you the wizards and warlocks of olden times.
Telekinetics ain't strong enough to move me. 2 tsunamis couldn't do me. Plus I'm prominently promising I'm ominous and moody like a comet when he's shooting, bombing on the run and cruising with some hydroponic chronic marijuana in his hoopty. An anomaly abusing a conglomerate of groupies like piranhas. Now you want them with Kalana pitted roofies, and I'll dominate a booty like it's Monica Bellucci's. Make a pussy walls collapse. I'm Osama to the coochie. I'm Obama to this music. It's too fucked to change now. Growing Novocaine, emotion flowing, throwing flames out. Plus my voltage and velocity, you'll blow your brains out. Just like Superman if Ian came in Lois Lane's mouth. No one cold that came to go through pain and soak up game now. Notes will blow your frame, your broken tank, and Cobra came out. Hope this music shit finally pays off and I make checks, so I'm stuck in drugstores buying shit to make meth, motherfucker.
Practitioners of Solomon's magic are not Satanists who make pacts with the devil. They are spiritual explorers in the deep caverns of the mind.
Mind torture. Make a house of pain out your brain, and when the scalpel shave, it's redder than a falcon's gate. Douse out the flames with turpentine. I work for mine. Why I need a biscuit? This razor will murk you fine. Time to get nice. It feels right that I'm a boss. Autograph tracks with my signature flow. Of course. All I need is a 30-minute TV ad, before and after pictures, naked bitches toking weed sacks with the seat back. In the Audi A8, my EPK is me with PPKs and dead president's face paint. The feds not pictures, but they throw the book at me, so on Sasquatch, see me get a good look at me. Your Commodore 64 raps are under process. I'm the Whopper mainframe for war games here to play chess. Get gassed, yeah, the hunt is on. Twin shotty, so no need to know which side the pump is on.
These are the secrets of a lost art by which wizards and warlocks of olden times invoked holy angels and evil lesser spirits.
Bob Bipolar, cold and hot, cold as Minnesota twat. Colder than a kid who took the safety off a loaded Glock. Rolling lock, low I try, thinking about the shows I rock. Strange bitches all in my bed like fucking Goldilocks. No one's got shit, I'm dirty version, I'm serious. I'm accustomed to custom and I say fuck just to hear the shit. And I'm crushing you fuckers and leave you stuck in delirium. Throw the towel in, like we about to fuck on a period.